Hello and welcome to inAWEcards Studio. My name is Casey and I'm really glad you're here. This is a video tutorial to make my bird cage wall art. Here's some examples of finished products. Finished wall art. There's one. Here's another example. Okay. And when you order the kit, you're going to get just a few pieces of the product. You're going to get a die cut of the cage. Should I put this up here so you can see? The die cut of the cage, a die cut of a bird. You're also going to get the twine to use to hold your cage. And it's already on adhesive backing. I don't know if you can see that, but it's already got adhesive on the back. And then a small little pop dot, and I'll show you later on in this tutorial what to use that for. You're also going to get the text, and it's already printed out for you on really nice thick cardstock and already cut to fit on an 11 by 14 canvas. Here are the canvas that I purchased at Hobby Lobby. I got two for the price of $5.99. As you can see, that's what I got right there. Hope you can see that. So I'm going to have a canvas, so you're going to have to purchase that. And then also going to need some craft paint to paint your canvas. I just got this at my local craft store. This is a spa blue that I'm going to be using today, so you can kind of see it go on the canvas. You're also going to need Mod Podge, which there's all different types. There's gloss, there's matte, there's paper. For this project, honestly, probably it doesn't matter if you do gloss or matte because we're going to put a gloss finish on it to complete it. So there's also other kinds of decoupage medium out there. I think any of those would work just fine. This is just what I'm used to using and prefer. And then the final thing is the gloss finish that we're going to put on it. And just so I just want to give you kind of all of what you're going to need. Oh wait, one more thing. I'm going to put the Mod Podge on with this kind of brush. It's kind of in a bristle brush, and I prefer it over the foam brush, which the foam brush is what I'm going to use to put the paint on the canvas. So this will work to do Mod Podge, but it sucks up a lot of the Mod Podge, so I find that this bristle brush works better. So it's completely up to you. Either one will work. And then once we've finished with everything, oh, the other thing you're going to need, a piece of cardstock. This is what I've chosen for my tutorial today. And you're going to need a piece of, this is all in the written instructions, a piece of cardstock. It's mine is measured 5.5 inches wide by 10.5 inches long. And then finally, to the varnish. Here are some options. This one, as you can see, and it's DuraClean Gloss Varnish by Americana. This is a very light coat of varnish, but a gloss, just very light. The next, this is a little bit thicker, and this is Martha Stewart Thick Coat Finish. I got this at my local Tuesday morning store, if you can see that, for $3.99, and it's usually about, says $10. So this is actually what I'm going to be using today. I really kind of like it. And it was a really great price, and it's amazing what kind of things you can find at Tuesday morning to craft with, surprisingly. And then the other option, this is extremely thick gloss. It's actually called a gloss glaze, and it's called Triple Thick, also by Americana. If you want a gloss finish that's thick and durable, very thick and very durable, you can't beat this. This is probably the best product for that I've found. So, with that said, we're going to get started, and the first step is going to be to take our canvas and to paint it. Alright, so now we're going to put some paint on this canvas, and there is really no particular way that you need to do this. It's going to be mostly covered up with the text and the scrapbook paper, but it helps to have a nice coat of paint. It looks good, and it also just helps everything adhere. So we're just going to paint this canvas. And we're also going to we're going to paint the edges as well. So just make sure you get it all the way around. That way you don't have to frame this. It can be totally like ready to go without any. You could put it in a frame, but it's certainly not necessary if you just do a good job of painting the edges. Okay, I have one coat on here. As you can see, I've done the edges, and now I'm just going to continue with this process and put one more coat of paint on top of this just to make sure it's covered well. Okay, now I have 2 coats of paint on my canvas. I hope you can kind of get an idea. Looks really nice, pretty blue. Now I'm going to take my piece of cardstock that I've picked out, and I'm going to put it here on my canvas. So I'm going to use my Mod Podge, and as I mentioned, I prefer this bristle brush, and I'm going to put a coat of Mod Podge in the area where I'm going to put the paper. I want you to be able to see about, I know like when I first started using Mod Podge, I wasn't sure how much to use, so I'm hoping that this will be helpful in the process for you to see about kind of how I put that on and about how much. Now then, I'm going to go ahead and move this out of the way. I'm going to take my piece of cardstock and I'm going to put a light coat of Mod Podge all over the back of the cardstock, and I'm going to make sure especially to get it on the edges. And you can see I've got this work surface here. It's craft mat. It works really well, but I know a lot of people are not going to have that, and I'll tell you what works really well while I'm finishing this up. You can buy those disposable plastic tablecloths to use like for parties at like a party store or a craft store for like less than $1. And those make excellent surfaces to craft on, because then once you're done, you can just throw it away and things don't stick to it like they will like newspaper or something if you're using that. Okay, and then I have to stand up to center this just right. So I'm going to center this on there. And now this is the hardest part, and I want you to be able to see. I'm going to take this. Now I'm using this scraper that came with my Silhouette Cameo cut machine, but a used gift card or a credit card will work just as well. And I'm going to also find that if I put my hand under there, that kind of helps, because it's kind of hollow up in there, you know, up in the canvas. So I'm putting my hand up in there so that I can have something to kind of push against to get the air bubbles out. So I'm going to do that a little bit. Then I'm going to come back and just make sure that everything is pushed down really well. Okay, and we're going to kind of let that dry and see, make sure that there's not any air bubbles that show up later. Okay, now then, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to put Mod Podge on the other side of the canvas. I don't know if you can see, let me get this where you can kind of see what I'm doing, sorry. Put a decent coat on here. All right, spread that out. And now I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the scrapbook paper. And I would suggest that you take your paper, and I've done this a few times, so obviously I know how to space them, but if this is your first time, it's kind of to your benefit. I'm just lining these up over here beside, you're going to see them here in just a second, beside my canvas, so that I can see where they need to be on the canvas, so that I don't get to the bottom and not have room for my Amazing Grace. So, okay, so I'm going to take my first one up from the top here that you couldn't see, but I had it there beside my canvas, and I'm going to put a thin coat on the back of this paper. Okay, then I'm going to take a scraper or your finger and just push it down and make sure that all the edges, especially the edges, they have a tendency to want to give you trouble. So you want to push down on those and just kind of work that down. Okay, now then, go to my next one. I'm going to repeat the process. Put this on the back of it. And I'm just going to leave, again, not much space. Probably, again, about a quarter, not even a quarter, more like 1/8 of an inch between. You can see I don't have a whole lot of a gap between. There's not a whole lot of paint underneath there to see. And again, I'm going to just work that. I'm just pushing down with my scraper. I'm going to make sure I get the edges nice. And if you don't think you got it good, just put some in. It doesn't hurt to go ahead and put your brush down on there and put a little on top, because that's what we're going to do next. So if you feel like it's not staying, it's not going to hurt to do that. Okay? I'm just going to make sure it's down on the edges. Alright, let me do one more here. You can see I'm not using very much on the back of the scrapbook paper. I think that helps keep the air bubbles to a minimum. So, alright, again, just a little bit of space between them. Put that down, get my scraper, put pressure on the paper to push it down on the canvas. Get the edges. Okay. Alright, I'm going to continue this process until I have all of the text down on the canvas. And at this point, you have to be kind of careful if you want to use your finger, because you may have Mod Podge on it. So a lot of times I'm just gonna use my scraper, or I'm gonna use the end of my paintbrush. And like I said, if you're concerned and it doesn't seem to be, just go ahead and put a little bit down on the top of it, because we're gonna just put a little under there and then push that down. Okay, now we've got our text. As you can kind of see, it's on there. And it looks like we're pretty good shape as far as air bubbles are concerned here. Maybe looks like that's not stuck down like I would like it to be, and that could be a problem. So let me see if I can able to get some under there. I'm just gonna, clearly did not put enough right there on that edge. So now then, if you didn't, it's not a big deal. And the nice thing is, it doesn't matter if you get some on the top of it, because we're gonna get to the point where we're gonna do that here in a minute anyway. So okay, I think I'm gonna take my scraper. I've got a little bit of bubble that's giving me trouble right here, and I'm just gonna keep working it outward. You can usually kind of tell if you hold it up. You can kind of look and see if it looks like there's any bubbles that are giving you trouble. Alright, now, next thing we're going to do is put the bird cage on. Now then, if I can get this where you can see what I'm doing. Okay. Now then, I'm going to scraper here. Okay. I'm going to take this twine that comes with the kit that's attached to this, and I'm going to put it up here, and I want mine to be flush with the top of the paper there. So I'm going to put it there, and then I'm going to bring my bird cage over here, and I know that I want my bird cage to go, I kind of like to put the knot right on top of that circle right there on the top of the, where my finger is right there. So I'm going to put that up under there, and that's going to give me an idea of where my bird cage is going to go. Okay, so I've got it right there, and I'm actually going to take a pen and just put a dot there, because it's going to be covered up. And I see some more bubbles right here, people. So let me see if I can use my scraper and work those out. As you can see, I'm just working toward the edge, and I'm pushing down. I'm being careful not to push too hard as to push through the canvas. That will not be good, or tear the paper. Okay. Alright, now I've got it. Okay, so the moment they're gone. Okay, and there's my dot. now I'm going to just basically kind of do the same thing that I did before. I'm going to just kind of take a spot where I want the bird cage to go, and I'm going to put some Mod Podge down. Okay, and then I'm going to take my bird cage, and it doesn't matter front or back on this one. And I am going to put some Mod Podge on the back. Okay, alright, so I've got a decent coat there, and I'm going to put it down on my canvas. I like to stand up to center. I don't know what my problem is, but okay. And I want to get that pretty close so that the twine that comes with the kit is, you know, appropriate. Alright, now then, I don't know if it's good or bad that some of my bubbles happen to be under the bird cage, but we're going to try to get rid of them as best we can. Put my finger under there. Okay. Alright. We're going to see if that dries, if it gets a little bit better. I think it will. Alright. Now we're going to put our bird on. Now, you have a choice. You know, you can do whatever you want with your bird. You can, you know, put him wherever. If you put him over here, his little tail kind of sticks off the edge, which is why I opt to have him face this direction. And I kind of use as a guide, I usually have his tail feathers really close to the bottom of that M is kind of where I put him. Now, this is important. I guess it's not the end of the world if you do this wrong, but it's best obviously to put the Mod Podge on the back, because if you put it on the wrong side, then you're going to have Mod Podge on both sides and you're liable to have a problem. So obviously I've got my bird down here facing left. I'm going to turn him over, and I'm going to put the Mod Podge on the back. I'm also going to put some Mod Podge up here where I'm going to put him in this area, and it doesn't have to be exact, just get close. Alright. Okay, now then, set him down about right there. Okay, I kind of like the branch to be on the edge. Okay, now at this point it's okay to go ahead and just put some Mod Podge right on the top of him to keep him in place. Usually don't have much trouble with the bubbles when it comes to him. Okay, so this is where you're going to put the wing on the bird. I'm just going to put a little Mod Podge down and just place it there, and put a little Mod Podge on top. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to carefully put a little coat on there. Okay, when I'm using this glaze, I again prefer to use a brush with bristles, just that way it doesn't stick or soak it up in that foam as much. It just seems to be easier to handle. So, take my glaze finish, gloss finish, and I'm just going to get a little bit on here. And I'm just going to put it on top. It really doesn't need to be a terrible, really thick coat. And I am going to put this on all of my canvas. Okay, and the very last thing you're going to do is take the twine that you got with your kit. You're going to peel it off of this adhesive. The adhesive is on there, if you can see it. And I'm going to peel it off of there with the adhesive attached. See that? It's going to peel off of there. Just be kind of careful. Okay. Now once I've got it off, I'm going to kind of just push it in underneath the twine. It's really hard to see what I'm doing, but I'm just kind of hiding it behind the twine to give it a little bit of build up behind the twine. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to take it over here and place the knot right there in that hole of the bird cage. And I'm going to try to make sure I get it as straight as possible and just push down. Help if you could see what I was doing, huh? Sorry. Hang on here. There we go. Okay, and I'm just going to push the adhesive up under there. My fingers push down nice and firmly, and then I'm going to take the dot that came, and I'm just going to kind of add it around the knot, just for some added stability where that attaches. Okay, and I'm actually going to cut that just a smidgen off the end there. Alright, and now you can see my final project. I hope you enjoy it, and thank you for watching.